You are now listening to another episode of the BMX Mindset. My name's Jack Tones, and if you are easily offended, please do not listen any further. There is a small possibility that this episode may contain some strong language. But if you're ready to feel empowered, you need to listen to this. Right guys, welcome to the BMX Mindset. Thank you for tuning in. In today's episode, we are joined by action sports entrepreneur Jack Plowman.
Dude, that was like so classy.
So Jack is the Asylum Skatepark owner. He is an all-round badass. He's rode BMX bikes, mountain bikes, crosses, and has a passion for fast cars. Now in today's episode, we are going to be diving into the mind of Jack to see what the realities are of running a business and dealing with business whilst also maintaining serious health implications. So I just like to say that Jack is a prime example of what it's like to take a leap of faith towards your dreams. So hopefully in today's episode, if you take anything from listening to me and Jack, it is the fact that you should not be scared and just jump balls deep.
Yeah, pretty much. Just wing it.
Wing it.
Wing it, man. Yeah. You made me sound well more badass than I actually am then.
Well, in my, I take some inspiration from you, Jack, to be honest. Like, the things that you've built up, which we'll get into in this episode, are incredible. I think that the nature that you are, you're a very humble guy. You like to get shit done behind closed doors.
Yeah, I guess so, yeah.
But in this episode, I'd like to open up those doors because I believe that there's value in your self-development and life experiences that you have been through.
Yeah, sure.
So before we get in too deep, let's start off by taking it way back. First of all, I want to do an introduction. Yeah. Let's paint a picture of who you are for those that are listening in today. So let's start off with your hometown, how old you are, number of tattoos that you've got.
Okay, yeah, so we're actually in my hometown. Well, Sutton and Huthwaite, they're like two little villages next to each other. We're in Sutton now. But yeah, from Huthwaite originally, that's where the original Asylum Park was, like 2 miles down the road.
We'll get into that.
So I've been stuck here all my life. Like me and the lads always joke about it. We always moan, we're like, oh, it's, such a crap place, like there's nothing there, but nobody ever leaves. Which is mad.
There's a lot to say for that though, and I think there's some power in that.
Yeah, there is 100%. I say this to all of them. I'm like, you all moan about it, but like we're all here, like, and most of us have done all right for ourselves, like, so there's a lot behind that, but we've all come from a very similar background and stuff. So I think that goes a long way, like, when you don't, I say don't come from much, but I cannot moan, dude. I have not had a bad life. Like, I have always had a steady life,
Amazing.
Mum and Dad's always looked after me, like, we never went without. It's not like we've not had food on the table and stuff. Like, it could be way, way worse. There are a lot of people in worse places, but, we're not from a massively rich background or anything like that. We weren't privileged kids, do you know what I mean? Just normal people. So, and we've all done all right.
Amazing.
Yeah. But yeah, I'm nearly 34. I'll be 34 in January. I feel about 80. Literally. Yeah, tattoos wise, dude, I don't know. It's just one big one. It never ends, does it? Like, is it ever finished? There's always a little bit more room, or you cover up a little bit more.
Fair play, man. I mean, you're a bit further along the journey than I am, but
yeah,
I can relate.
I'm nearly done with it, man. Like, they hurt too much. Anybody that says they don't hurt is lying.
I can vouch for that.
Yeah,
I can vouch for that. Okay, all right. A little bit more about you then.
Yeah.
Formal education.
Okay.
Do you have any GCSEs, A levels, uni degrees?
Yeah. So just GCSEs. Like, I just about scraped through. Okay. Did all right in English. The only thing I've ever been good at, like English literature, like, I don't know, just understand it, I get it. Numbers, horrendous. I really struggle with numbers, which is fantastic when you're trying to run a business. There's never a calculator too far away, so that's good. But yeah, like, just, kind of left school with basic GCSEs, went straight into work from that, dude. You know, I kind of left school on the Friday and started work on the Monday. So yeah, just always grafted. You know, it was brought up that way. Mum and dad have always worked really hard for what they've had. So yeah, you know, it was just kind of drilled in. That was what you did. You left school, you get a job, and that's how you go. You know.
I can appreciate that for sure, Jack. Definitely. Just one more question as we're getting to paint a picture of you. How's life treating you lately?
I'd love to say amazing, but it's been pretty rough.
Okay.
The last year especially has been pretty, maybe a little bit longer, like a year and a half, like a lot of shit's changed in my life, you know, just from home life to business, especially business, like COVID, dude, we're still feeling that. Like,
okay, we'll jump into that into this episode.
But that's been rough, and then, yeah, I've always, you know, like I say, I've struggled with health stuff, like, never really quite understood how much of a mess I was in with my back and stuff. Just always lived with it and just, you know, just got on with it. And then decided that I wanted to make a little motocross return. June this year I think it was.
I've seen the video.
Yeah, big over the bars. But that was probably the final nail in the box.
That's it.
Spinal wise.
You have been on one hell of a journey, man. Honestly.
Yeah.
And you know, I've known you for, you know, coming up to 10 years now. You started off by just being, you know, a customer, just coming to the skate park and not really knowing. But as we get into this episode, I'm gonna share my experiences with you and why I've decided to ask you to come onto this, because I think it's a special one. To be honest.
I appreciate that.
No, honestly, I'm very grateful to have you here today, man. It's so good. I know you're a busy man. You came through the door this morning on the phone, talking business.
Always do. That's the thing that, you know, when you're self-employed, anyone will get it, whether you've got a tiny business or a massive business. If you work for yourself, you're never not at work.
Yeah.
You know, whether it's 11:30 at night or 6 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah. So there's some serious adapting to be made.
Yeah, massively.
If you don't come from that background.
Yeah, massively, dude.
Amazing. Right. So first topic of this podcast is obviously I want to take it right back to your upbringing. Well, as far back as it comes relevant in your eyes. So obviously, we're here today in Asylum Skate Park.
Yep.
Your empire, an impressive one, may I add. But you know what they say: Rome wasn't built in a day, and to get to this point takes some serious personal development and life experience. So I want to dive back into where it all began for you. So let's start with, where did your passion for bikes come from? What inspired you to get involved in action sports?
So we, at our first ever family home, our next door neighbour had a motorbike when I would have been nearly 3. Sat me on the front of it, ripped me down the field behind the house, and I was just like, yeah, this is cool, you know. Mum and dad got me on, you know, on push bikes really early, probably, I don't know, time scale, maybe 2 or whatever, no stabilisers, tazzing round, just loved it, dude. I don't know what it was. Your first dose of adrenaline. I guess so, man. Yeah.
Your first experience. What adrenaline?
That was it. Yeah. So I got a PW50 for my 3rd birthday, and I literally rode the thing until the wheels fell off it.
Amazing.
Just on this little field down the back of the house. I had a little jump on it, a few other little bits, and my dad would fill the tank up, send me off down the field, and I'd literally just come home, I'd be sat in the field and he'd just run out of fuel. And he'd be right, it's time to come in now. I guess that's where all of that started. That led into, you know, many years racing motocross, which I guess, I think that shaped me a lot as a person. I think as a sport, motocross, it makes you grow up, which is it doesn't, because it keeps you young as, you've got to be fit. You have got to be so fit. I believe that it's one of the most physically demanding sports there is to do. To hold on to one of them things for, you know, a 20-30 minute moto especially like in a deep sand track. Like you got to be fit. So yeah, that keeps you young. But then like the mental side of it, like I don't know whether it's being around older people, like you know, you kind of meet people at racing that are older than you, become friends with them and stuff like that. So yeah, I don't know whether that's kind of makes you grow up, I guess. But I don't know, I always feel like my mindset's been like kind of older than what I am.
I can relate to that, yeah.
I don't know, it's strange.
And you feel like that is because of who you've...
Yeah, you've got to have a lot of discipline with it. Like, if you want to be good at motocross, you've got to be disciplined. And you know, I was alright at motocross. I was never like, I don't know. I guess there was probably a point, you know, when I was younger, like racing 65s, 85s, where I was up there with the fast lads, and you know, probably could have made something out of it. But to get anywhere in any motorsport, like you probably know, like you've got to have mega money. Like there was lads that I was racing with on a Saturday. You know, I'd only ride my bike at a weekend. I was at school all week, just a normal kid. I'd race with them on a Saturday, and I'd still be up there running that pace. But they'd been riding 3 days a week because they had a track on the side of the house, or you know, they was missing school. They was getting homeschooled, and you know, they were doing training days twice a week and stuff like that. So. Yeah, for me it was always like not a fighting battle, but I don't think it could have ever gone any further than it did with what we had.
I mean, there's a lot to be said. The fact that you know not everybody starts on the same level.
Yeah, so, sure. I mean, and like don't get me wrong, like we always had nice bikes, you know, and then towards the end we had a nice motorhome and stuff. That was, you know, bless my dad. He spent all of his money on like. Mum and Dad threw so much, everything into motocross. That was everything they had, was like literally, let's just kind of see how far we can go with it, you know. And like, bless them, man, like I could not ask for any more from them, you know. As a mum and dad, like I would choose them every time in another life. Like, such amazing people.
Powerful, man.
Yeah,
Powerful.
they're insane. Like, it's mad.
No, that's awesome. So I mean, that bleeds into my next question for you. Was obviously I wanted to ask what your support network was like when growing up. So like, obviously, by the sounds of it, you had your family there to nurture you into action sports.
Yeah.
You know, you're hanging around people older than you, probably better in ability.
Yes.
And obviously that leads to inspiration and motivation to strive for more.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, same as anything, dude. Like if you hang around with people that are better than you, like you're gonna do better. Like, that's how it is. Like, you know, if you hang around with 10 millionaires, you'll be the 11th.
Yeah.
You hang around with 10 bums, you'll be the 11th.
Yeah.
Like, you know, that's pretty much how it goes.
Yeah.
So yeah, like support network wise, mum and dad were always there, like grandma and granddad as well, like the whole family was involved, you know. I'm an only child as well.
Okay, that's interesting. Yeah.
So like, yeah, I don't know, it was always, a bit of a, honestly, like outsider, almost. Like I kind of fit in school, but I didn't at the same time, because nobody really understood the motocross thing. Like I'd turn up at school on a Monday and I'd struggle walking upstairs to get to tour, because I'd be aching so bad because I'd absolutely battered myself on a Sunday, and everyone would be like, "Oh, you know, what's wrong with you?" I'm just aching. Like, I've been racing all weekend. They're like, "Oh, you just sit on a bike and twist the throttle. Like, what are you on about, Joey?" It's just like, oh, I'm not even wasting my breath to explain it to you. Do you know what I mean? Like, they've been running around playing football or whatever. Like, you do you, like.
So, do you feel like you fitted in at school, or do you feel like you got a bit of an outsider?
To a degree, yeah. Like, you know, like you get your cool kids, and you get, you know, I was kind of always friends with the cool kids, but then I've always been friends with the other kids, like, because I've never really fit in with anyone. And I've always, like, you know, I was brought up with a respect thing, like you treat everyone at face value, you know, like, and that's how I've always been, I always will be, like, if nobody's wrong me, why is you wrong them, vice versa, you know, like, so yeah, I think, I don't know, I didn't really fit in, I wouldn't say I fit in, but, you know, I just kind of, you know, I was friends with everyone, didn't really have no enemies, that was fine, got through school fine, you know, like, it was alright. But yeah, it was like always a little bit outside. Nobody really understood the sports thing, especially at school, man. Like that was always a big gripe, you know. Like I was probably at the time, like I was good enough at motocross. I was up there. So, but nobody understood it. at school, and teachers didn't understand it. You know, I did GCSE sport and got shit grades because I cannot kick a football. I can't run. Like, dude, I run like a baby deer, mate. It is dreadful.
I want to see that.
Yeah, no, you don't, trust me. It's not pretty. But yeah, so, but then I feel like, you know, oh my God, BMX royalty just walked in. That's Tom Justice and Matt Rowe, ladies and gentlemen. If you don't know about Matt Rowe, then you don't know BMX. And Tom Justice, by the way. But yeah, two goats. Anyway, sorry, dude.
They are
joys of being in the skate park. I've lost my train of thought. But yeah, no, like mainstream sports and stuff, you know, like, it's a big gripe because you don't, you know, you could be the sickest BMX rider, the sickest scooter rider in school, and you're never going to have the chance to showcase that because there's not the opportunities out there, you know. When we first opened the park, like, I went around every school in Nottinghamshire and was like, I will run 3 sessions for you. All you've got to do is bring the kids. We'll have the bikes, we'll have the helmets, we'll have scooters, whatever they want to ride, just bring them. Like, just to try and see, make the teachers and everybody see that there's more outside of mainstream stuff. They're all like, nah, way too risky. Like, risk assessment this, risk assessment that, like, insurance this. Like, I get it, but there's so many people out there that have got talent, like a boatload of talent, and never get to showcase it. And it's so frustrating.
Yeah, no, dude, I see it all the time. Yeah, and it doesn't get picked up, noticed, or channeled in the right direction, and it just gets lost in the abyss.
The amount of kids that I know that were sick on bikes and, you know, could have really made stuff for themselves and end up in the wrong places in life because they've had like adrenaline and stuff like that, but then either they can't afford to go further with it, or, you know, something happens where they can't go further with it, and then they're constantly chasing. You know, I've been there myself, dude. Like, when I stopped racing motocross, like, I did everything you can imagine to try and chase that adrenaline.
Yeah.
Nothing compares, mate. Like, I wish it did, but it don't.
Yeah, no, I fully vouch for everything you've just said.
Yeah.
And I relate on such a personal, deep level, man.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like there's a lot of similarities between me and you and a lot of the listeners listening in.
Yeah.
But yeah, my next question for you, obviously, being where you are now and taking it back to where you was this always part of your plan? Never part of your plan?
Never, dude. Like...
Did you have a plan?
No. I still haven't got a plan. I never will have a plan. You know, like, just keep grinding until you can't. That's, you know, like, I'll just keep riding this out until it physically can't. Like, you know, unfortunately, we're that deep in with it. Like, there's been times, dude, where we're like,
is this the right?
Yeah, this ain't it. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, I could literally go and stack shelves in Aldi. Earn way more money than I'm earning out the skate park. Like,
yeah, I mean, entrepreneurship and running a business is obviously glamorized through social media, and obviously you see the fast cars, you see the yachts, you see the beautiful women.
Yeah.
But then when you take a dive into, you know, entrepreneurship for yourself, and you're faced with hurdle after hurdle after hurdle, and sometimes those hurdles you can't see a way over.
Sure.
But,
no one sees the actual grind. All they see is the end process or the good bits. Same with, like, the whole social media thing, like you said, like, it's not real life. Like, you know, and I'm so glad I didn't grow up with that, dude.
Yeah.
Like, I had this conversation with somebody the other day. I was like, can you imagine being at school now with Instagram and everything else, and like seeing all this stuff, like, this is what I've got to be, this is what I've got to do, and it ain't real. None of it's real.
Yeah. But could you imagine though, your 15-year-old self seeing those things that the 15-year-olds these days are seeing, and being sort of inspired, motivated? Like, you know, that's...
I guess there is that side to it, but then, like you say, you see it. Is it real life? No. Like, so I see the pluses and I see the negatives. Personally, I think there's more negatives to it.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know, man. Like you say, like the whole entrepreneurship thing, and I never see myself being even to call. I even feel bad calling myself that. I guess I am. But like I'm just a normal guy, mate. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, I'm a normal dude.
But there's power in that word, dude. I mean, like for kids, or not even kids. I don't want to segregate anybody, any walk of life that has big dreams, big ambitions.
Yeah.
You have to give it a label to relate to. So the reason I call you an entrepreneur, even though you might not like the label, it's just how I can paint the picture of the what path.
Yeah, sure.
You've taken.
Yeah, no, like I fully appreciate that. Like there's a lot of power as such in what you say. You know, if somebody has got a dream, like then you go get it. Like,
go for it.
You know, why not? But just understand, like you got to work for it. Like some rare instances, people get handed things, like and people make it. But 99% of the people that are doing it, like it's hard work, mate.
It's graft.
It is graft.
Yeah. So when you was younger, and you're coming through the school, maybe you finished school, were you aware of what entrepreneurship was?
No. Why would you be?
No,
nobody is. You get taught, you get taught the things you get taught in school. Like you leave school not knowing about mortgages. You don't know anything like that. You don't know about real life. You just know that you finish school, you either go uni or college or whatever you want to do, or you get a job. That's everyone leaves thinking the same thing. Just like I did. So when it was never a thing for me. It was just like, that's it. I'm just going to get a job. I'm a fabricator welder. Originally, that's what I left school and started doing.
Oh, okay. So you're a fabricator by trade.
Yeah.
Wow.
So I went straight into the workshop. Just did my apprenticeship. Didn't actually get to finish it. Had a little altercation with a bandsaw. Nearly lost my left hand. That was good fun. 2 months before I was supposed to finish my apprenticeship, but I think I got my city and guilds. I just didn't finish my MVQ. But yeah, that was a strange time in life.
But being able to finish school, did you essentially walk into a job? Did you have to go out and find that job?
At the time, my dad was a delivery driver for a tool hire company, and they used to deliver to a place called James Engineering, which is a couple of miles down the road. And he'd seen something in their reception when he was dropping something off that they was looking for apprentices. So he literally came back from work and he was like, James Engineering are taking apprentices on. I think you should do it. And I was like, I don't really know what I want to do. Like, originally, I wanted to be a physio dude or an architect. I was really complete opposite. My brain's so scattered. This is a whole different side of it, man. I think there's a lot of underlying things going off, like undiagnosed ADHD, probably. I say probably, definitely undiagnosed ADHD.
Well, I hope that the value of the BMX mindset is going to make it clearer for you of understanding how you operate. No, I'm fully aware of it, dude. I just choose to ignore it sometimes. Well, I don't know. I say ignore it. No, I think it's it's good to have that. Like for me, I don't think I'd be where I am if I wasn't how I am. If that makes sense. Don't get me wrong. Some days is a struggle. Like I wake up, dude, and just getting out of bed's hard work, mate. Because everything's just on constant. Like try and describe it to people is like. You remember old Internet Explorer where you'd have 12 pages open? Yeah. 6 of them are froze. And then there's music in the background that you don't know where it's coming from. Yeah. That's my brain constantly. It's weird. But then there's other days where I wake up and I hyper focus. I'm like, oh cool. I've got 12 tasks. Bosh, done. And shit gets done. But it's not like that every day. I wish it was. I'd be way further on in life than I am. Yeah. That's just how I am. We weren't. When we were younger, the whole kind of labelling kids as stuff wasn't such a thing. Not like it is now. There's a lot of people
my kid's got ADHD, or my kid's this, my kid's that. Like, there's a lot of label going off, which I appreciate, and it's good that them kids then get the help that they need for it. But I think a lot of people play on it. There's a lot of people getting paid money for it, so appreciate it. But yeah, like, I don't think there was any of that when we were growing up, so it was just like, you know, that's who I am, that's how my brain works, that's how I just get on with it, like, you know.
Yeah,
and that's kind of always how I've lived life, just, you know, you just get on with it, don't you? Whether you're having a shit day or whether you're having a good day, like.
But for example, you're having a shit day, you wake up and it's not going your way, you can't seem to organise your brain. How do you treat yourself? Do you beat yourself up about it? Or do you just accept that this is how today is going to go?
I've got better with that, dude. Like, I've got a lot better with that over the last few years. I used to beat myself up pretty bad about it, especially when we first started the business. Like, I used to worry. I've always been a worrier. Like, I am ultimate worrier, dude. I will create a scenario in my head that is not even a thing and worry about it. So yeah, like when we first opened, like, we was busy for, you know, the first 6 months because it was a new park. Everyone was buzzing to see it, come ride it, and we was fine. It was like, yeah, we're alright here. And then we went into winter, and winter was real busy as it is. Indoor parks, you know, smashing through winter. So it was like, yes, this is good. And then we had our first summer in the skate park, and we was just like, this ain't it. Like, we've had 4 customers today. Like, you know. Got a big rent bill to pay at the end of the month and nobody's been through the door. So I'd go for like days, dude, not sleeping, just like, am I going to pay rent? I don't know, I'm going to pay rent. Am I going to pay rent? Just doing that loop. And then I guess after a few years you get to a point where you're like, well, worrying about it ain't going to pay rent. Like, you know, I can worry about that all I want, but it ain't going to pay my bills. So that's on me to then be more productive. Like, I need to do something, whether I put an offer on, whether I do something to try and get people in, you know.
But that's good that you've found that awareness of yourself to be able to make the change.
Oh, the whole thing was a massive growth thing for me. Like, so when we first, like, before we opened, I was probably at, like, the worst place in life, like, for me, like, the lowest point almost. You know, I'd stopped racing motocross. I'd had this accident with a sore clutch hand as well. So yeah, I couldn't really. I've got wicked movement in that finger now compared to what I used to have. That one didn't really used to move. That was nearly off. And then I de-gloved that one. That one like slid over.
Proper job.
Oh, it was a big one. Like, yeah, it was grim. So yeah, that put an end to like motocross. Couldn't really do the job that I was trained to do. So I feel like we're going back on ourselves a little bit.
No, this is perfect. So, what I wanted to say was, like, the point of where the decision was made to jump into starting your own business.
Yeah. So, like, what was that? Probably, I think I was 19 when I did my hand. It's all a little bit vague, looking back on it. I think there was quite a lot of trauma there, and I just block it out. Can't really remember much about it. Just remember it being shit. You know, I was knocking around with people that I say shouldn't be knocking about with. Like, no, like, I wouldn't change it. They're great people. Met a lot of people through it, you know, that I respect and taught me life lessons and stuff. But yeah, like, knocking about with a new bunch of people, weren't working. Doing bits and bobs for mates just to get by, just to put fuel in the car, or, you know, go buy Mackies or whatever. Like, just literally, like, got to a point where, because mum and dad was like, oh, we'll just give you a bit of money to, you know, put a bit of fuel in the car or whatever. But then, like, I'd had like a year off work, and I'm like, I ain't scrounging off my mum and dad. Like, I'm 20 years old, like, I ain't taking money off my mum and dad. It's not. Do you know what I mean? So, you know, I'd go and do bits and bobs for my mates, or what I could do with my hand being in the mess it was. So I was still waiting for surgery on it at this point. Just washing cars. I was washing cars, dude. Before the park opened, I was working for my mate at his car garage, washing cars. Ended up selling cars as well, because, like, his best friend was a salesman, but loved to party. So he'd it'd be a Sunday morning, and, like, he wouldn't even rock in, dude. He'd still be partying. So, like, we'd have customers coming in, and I'm there at like 20 years old, selling people, you know, 7, 8, 10 grand motors that I didn't have absolute clue what I was doing, just winging it. And I was earning 20 quid a day. He was paying me £20 a day cash, dude. But it was fine, so I could put £10 in my fuel in my car, I could go to Macca's, buy some food, and go out with my mates, like, you know. And that's like, I lived that for like, you know, three years, maybe 4 years nearly. And at the time I had a claim going through for this accident with my hand. Shouldn't have happened, you know. I didn't want to have the claim thing, like that was like a big thing for me. I'm not that type of person, dude. But then I went back into work on light duties after I messed my hand up, and the managing director took me in the office and literally screamed at me for like 50 minutes, dude. Just awful person. Like, he's like, oh, you've cut your hand, like it's not even bad, you need to be back at work, you need to be doing this. And I'm like, dude, like, I'm here on light duties, like I don't have to be here, like I can get signed off if I want, my finger's hanging off, do you know what I mean? Like, I don't have to be here, I want to be here, I'll do what I can while I'm here, like I want to be at work, do you know what I mean? And he basically ended up sacking me there and then. He was just like, look, if you can't work, I don't fucking want you. So I lost my head, dude. Like, I hated that guy so much, I can't even tell you. I used to sit outside that building in my car and watch him leave for work, dude. Like, I hated him that much. Like,
yeah, vendetta.
Bad thoughts, mate. And I lived that for a while. Weren't a very nice person for them years, you know. Like, I think I was just angry more than anything, because it kind of took away everything that I enjoyed.
So that interaction with your old boss, you know, affected your mental health
massively, dude. Yeah, I was dark, mate, for a fair few years. So through all this claim thing, I ended up having to go and see a psychiatrist. Still not 100% sure to this day whether it was actually to do with the claim or whether Mum had told me it was to do with the claim and she wanted me to go and see somebody.
Right, okay.
I have a sneaky feeling that was the case, but I'm not 100% sure. I could be wrong. Anyway, I ended up seeing this guy, and he was like, look, he's like, you've got to find something that you love and focus your attention to it, because if you don't, you're either going to kill somebody or kill yourself. Like, that's pretty much where it was at. So I left there, and I was like, you know, it was food for thought, because I was kind of just in that deep hole where I weren't really thinking about that, you know, it was just life and I was just plodding on. And I left there thinking, do you know what, like, he's right, like, that ain't me, like, I've never been that kid, do you know what I mean, I'm not a nasty person, mate, like, not. So yeah, I left there, and that was like, what do I actually enjoy? And I came back to bikes, you know, that's the only thing I've ever really thoroughly enjoyed doing. It's the only thing I've ever been half good at, like, you know what I mean? I'm good at a lot of things, I can do a lot of things, I'm just not excellent at anything, but bikes have always been the one, like. So, yeah, I had the surgery on my hand, got my finger working a little bit, I didn't have much strength in it, that finger used to be like a claw, dude, it was like that constantly, I couldn't straighten it, it was weird, and like all this muscle, like, even still, like that hand's a lot smaller here than this one.
You
like,
can see the difference.
Yeah, there's a lot of like muscle wastage, and it's like my grip strength's not great. But as soon as I could hold a set of bars, I was like, I need to start riding again. So I was like, it's going to be a getaway for me, do you know what I mean? So yeah, got on BMX, straight down to the local outdoor. A lot of faces on there that I've not seen for a long time, dude, you know, I've been doing other things and partying and shit, and I guess that's life lessons though, we all have to go through that stage, you know.
Yes,
we see that with kids that come through the park, like there'll be kids come that are really, really good at what they do, like whether it be scooter, skate, BMX, they'll come from, you know, 13, 14 years old and be amazing, parents buzzing, oh, he's going to go so far or whatever, and I say to them all, I'm like, he'll go as far as he wants, like, you can't push him, don't push him, it'll be the worst thing you can do, so just let him do him, because when he gets to 17, or she gets to 17, and they pass a driving test, and then they get to 18 and they can go buy a beer, life will change for them, but they need to do that, because they'll learn a lot, but I will guarantee you they will always come back to it, whether they're 21, whether they're 31, they'll always end up back with it.
Yeah.
So So yeah, I got back on the BMX, seen all these faces, started knocking about with all my old mates again, riding, enjoying it. It was pretty shit. I used to pull up all the time, dude. I'd hit a jump box and pull back and my hand would just fly off because I didn't have no grip strength. Like, I took some gnarly slams, mate, with my hand flying off. I remember trying to tuck no under Flo's box, mate, and I pulled up to do a tuck and my hand come bouncing off like straight over the bars. Just, yeah, it was...
That's gnarly, dude.
Yeah, it was weird, but yeah, I just got on with it, you know. Like, I was just stoked to be able to get back on my bike, and it just pulled me out of that shit place, mate. That's what it comes down to, you know. Like, it changed things for me, and then, you know, we was travelling everywhere again. We was driving to parks. You know, we used to go Corby a couple of times a week, or we go T1, we go Flow, we go all these other places. And me and the lads just used to talk about it all the time. We'd be like, we go to all these places, we travel for it, and there's never that atmosphere that we have when we ride as our mates. Like, the sessions were it was just different. So then we got talking, we was, I'd be so sick if we could have an indoor, you know, like that. Like, imagine just having an indoor, like, where we could just hang out, it's just us, have our sessions.
Yeah.
And then yeah, we went go-karting one day, and the original building, the Asylum V1, ended up being next to the go-kart track. So I knew Matt really well, who owned the go-kart track. He was a young guy, got into business, opened the go-kart track, did well for himself, lovely bloke. Got handed a few bump deals, bless him. But yeah, he was a sick guy. But he was like, are you still thinking about opening the skate park? I was like, dude, I missed the video. So mum and dad,
Go back.
Mum and dad looked at opening a skate park. Whilst was I still been at school? Maybe I'd just left school. It was around that time. Do you know Rob Andrews?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sick guy.
Yeah. From More Large, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sick guy. OG BMX, mate. Like, still sick on a BMX. Rob, ride your bike more, please. Well, yeah. Yeah, Rob came with us. Like, we went to look at a unit which is actually like 3 units down from where we're sat right now. Because they had a little idea that they grew up taking me to skate parks as well as motocross. Like, through winter months when we weren't racing as much, they'd take me to Derby Storm. That was the only indoor then.
Wow.
Or you know, so that's kind of where I grew up riding BMX, like in Storm. And they used to stand in there for hours, dude, with nothing, just stood freezing like this, just watching me ride the bike. So then they had this idea. It was like, oh, we could, you know, do a park and you make it sick for parents and blah blah. But yeah, one thing led to another. Never happened. Like, the rent on that building was like astronomical, and just did some figures, didn't work. So I was like, nipped it in the bud at that point. Like, we'd never even thought of it again. Until I walked into the go-kart track this day, and Matt was like, are you still thinking about opening a skate park? I was like, dude, that was years ago, mate. He's like, yeah, but he's like, the building next door's available. He's like, I think it'd be perfect. And then I was like, have you got a key? He's like, yeah, do you want to look? So I'm like, yeah, go on then. So gone round and like, literally, like, he's pulled the roller shutter door up, and I'm just like, holy shit. I was like, actually, you know, it's not massive, but it'd be manageable. Obviously me and the boys have been talking about, sick would it be to have an indoor and blah blah. So yeah, one thing led to another, and we'd go out at night and we'd sit in Asda car park in the van, dude, smoke 20 deck of fags, and you know, with a sketchbook drawing and shit, and it was just like a pipe dream, mate. Do you know what I mean? That was how it was. And then I kept going back to this thing about what this guy had said to me about, you need to find something you love and, you know, go with it. So I said to Mum, I was like, Matt showed me this building the other day and I'd like to open a park. And she was like, really? And I was like, yeah. And I think for her something must have clicked at that point as well, because I think that was probably like the first really good conversation that I'd had with her for quite a while. You know, I've been in this shit place, and I think she's seen a little bit of something in it where, like, oh, actually it's shown a bit of interest in this, like we should probably run with it a little bit. So yeah, like literally I went from kind of bumming about to we just sat for months. Lads would come around, we get pizza, sit with Mum, created this business plan. I didn't even know what a business plan was, dude. I didn't even know. I didn't know where to start, man. Do you know what I mean? It was like, where do you even start when you come to, you know, you don't learn it in school, do you? So, where do you start? Matthew!
He's obviously just done something awesome.
I think he nearly stacked it. He's loose, bless him.
That's awesome.
But yeah, so yeah, we sat doing a business plan and doing these figures, and we didn't have a clue what anything cost. We were just kind of, in our heads, that's roughly going to cost that. That's roughly going to cost that. And then I booked a meeting with a bank. Went for a meeting with them, and I was like, I want to open a skate park. Here's my business plan. Guys took a look at it. Took a look at me. Covered in tattoos. 22 years old.
Yeah.
He's like, no mate.
Straight up, no.
Straight up, not interested. Like, you're pissing in wind, pretty much. Like the figures you're asking for at your age, with no business background, everything else, like, no, like it ain't gonna be a thing. Went to 4 other banks, same process. A lot of stereotyping, like people still get it now, still get it to this day, mate. I'm nearly 34-year-old man, like, and I get looked at like I've got 3 heads some days because I've got tattoos on my face.
Yeah, I understand that. Yeah.
They think you're a thug, mate. I am soft as butter. Like, but yeah.
Would you say that going to the bank was your first encounter of rejection?
Business-wise, yeah.
Business-wise.
I've dealt with rejection in other areas, but like a big rejection, 100%.
Did it hurt?
That was like, yeah. But for me, I think this goes back to being like a little bit ADHD or whatever is going off in my head. Like him turning around to me and saying that, I was just like, no mate, fuck you.
Fuel for the fire, right?
100%. I was like, don't tell me I can't do that, because I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna prove a point here. Like whether it costs me personally, like my health. Anything that I didn't have much, had it. I fuck all, dude. I had a Fiesta that I owned. That was it. So it's not like it would have cost me a load of money. But yeah, anyway, like I would have put everything on the line just to prove this guy wrong. Like that was where my head went. And then we ended up seeing a woman at HSBC, Joe Greensmith, her name was. Still remember it. Like 12 years ago. Might even be a little bit longer now. Still remember it. Still remember her face. And she looked at the business plan and she was like, I really, really don't want to like this, but I do. And I was like, okay. I was like, it's more positive than we've had everywhere else. So she's like, I'm going to say no for now, but I think you've got something there. You just need to go away and, tweak it, maybe, do a little bit more research, do what you need to do. So, but we left there with like feeling a bit happier, dude. It was like, weren't a definite no. And then she actually rang us up a few weeks after, and she's like, "Could I have another meeting with you? I've been looking at your business plan again." So we went for the meeting, and she was like, "Look, I'm putting my neck on the line massively here." She's like, "I'm taking a risk on you," but she's like, "I can see that you've got a passion for this. Like the fact that you've been rejected a few times and you're still coming back." She's like, I believe in you. And I was like, well, that's a big thing, She's like, I'm going to back you, let's do it. So yeah, we took that bank loan, got the keys, had a hellish 6 month, like the building was like derelict, dude, aside from V1, it was so fucked when we got that building. Gypsies had been living on the land next door. They'd literally just left everything. I think we took 18 grab lorries worth of stuff just out of the car park. That was before we started on the inside. There was no power in there. The roof leaked. So we did all this stuff, and like all between the mates, like we'd not budgeted. Like we didn't know what we were doing. Like we had a little bit of budget for it, but not to the extent where like when we started getting into it, we were like, this is big. This is a lot of work. But all the lads chipped in. And the build, they were down there every day helping us, like mum and dad again, Dad did so much. That nearly killed him, dude. That first job, like, he was still working a 9 to 5, and then coming and grafting at the park till like 11, 12 o'clock at night, and then going back to work the next day. Which I think that was Dad's way of like helping with it, because he was never like, Dad's never really been like me. He's never been one to take a leap of faith.
Okay.
Like, he's so conservative, and I feel like, I don't know, he's got better in the last 2 years. Him and my mum got divorced, dude, and he's had this new lease of life, and like, they're both happy, you know, they both seem happier, and you know, as shit as it is, that's all I care about. They're both happy that it's his life, innit? But yeah, like, Dad was never that guy to take a jump. Like, when me and Mum were talking about doing this, he was always the guy that was like, oh, it's too risky, it's way too risky, you can't do this, like, you know what I mean? And then I think when he actually like realised that we were fucking doing it anyway, he was like, right, okay, like, this is my time to step up and eat fucking graphs, dude. That's all he knows. Like, that's all my dad does, mate. He lives for work. It's insane. Like, even now, mate, he's 62, coming up 63. He does driveways and patios, spends all day on a shovel, like, actual graft. He's got prostate cancer. He's like still fucking grafting, mate. And I'm like, this guy.
Big up Papa Plowman.
Literally, mate. Like, yeah, what a role model. Do you know what I mean?
I was just about to say that, and I think that has a lot to say for the way you are.
Yeah.
Although you might have more tolerance to risk than, say, the older generation, but your hard work, and when your back's up against the wall, like, determination to be like, no, I'm gonna get out of this hole. Like, I think that shines through from your parents.
100%, dude. So yeah, that was the start of everything. The park was built, you know, Vision built that one. That was when Vision was still together.
And what was the first asylum van? Was it Transit or was it the Caddy?
No, I swapped my Fiesta for a Transit Connect.
Right.
08 plate one. Timmy, we called him. Timmy the Transit. And like I do everything in car related, I ruined it. Slammed it on its arse. Like, we went to fetch the screws for the original build, and I ordered 48,000 gold screw plus from Screwfix. I walked in, the mum was like, "You building a fucking housing estate? Like, what's going on?" I was like, and we filled the Connect with these screws, dude, literally to the roof. We were so overloaded. We was driving down the A38 and the back bumper was hitting the floor and sparking up, and me and Lee, man, my mate, was just sat in the front, we were just like laughing, and I was like, this is sick. But yeah, that was motoring back then, man. I swapped my 55 plate Fiesta for an 08 Transit. So it was original Asylum van.
Yeah, man.
We didn't have the logo, dude. We like had some like makeshift logo, but I can't even remember who drew it for us. Like, I probably should, but like, somebody just literally drew it up, and it had that logo on the side. It was so cheesy, but it was just like, it was not the one. And then it just had like, come in July 2013 in big letters on the side. And I used to drive around Sutton all the time, and I'd go park it and leave it in busy places so people could see it, and you know, it got people talking. It did, and you know, I got a lot of negativity from that as well, like from people that I didn't expect it from, like friends, not lads that I was knocking about, but friends from like way back when, were just like, what are you doing, mate? Like, you know, I ain't gonna work. Do you know what I mean? It's a skate park for kids, or you know what I mean. But they didn't understand action sports, so I guess this is like the same thing coming out of school, like, and not knowing.
Ignorance.
Just ignorant to it, dude. Yeah, like they don't understand the doors that can be opened through it, you know, like yourself, like all, like, you know, the whole BMX community is quite close knit, and if you take people from their backgrounds and look where certain people have gone through it, it's mind blowing. Same with any action sport, I guess. You know, you look at any mountain bike riders or, you know, motocross riders, it's a little bit different because I guess there's had to be money involved with that at some point, whereas, you know, BMX mountain bike scooters way more accessible.
Yeah, but like the fundamentals and like the mindset behind it, they're all similar.
Yeah,
like
definitely.
They have to be there in order for that to follow on.
To follow on, yeah.
So would you say, like, so you've got the skate park up and running now? The doors are open, you've got people coming in, it's winter, things are good. Would you say that was like when you started to feel resistance from your old peers?
Yeah, to a degree, dude. Yeah, it was like they didn't want to admit that it was working. You know?
Right, it was jealousy.
Yeah, but at the time I didn't really see it too much because I did nothing but work, you know, for a long, long time, and it was antisocial hours. So it weren't like I was bumping into these people in the street or seeing them in the pub or whatever, because I was at work. So I didn't really understand like how bad it was until like I'd see somebody that I used to know and they'd be like, oh, I seen such and such the other day and they were saying this about you, or it's like, oh, Plow's a prick now, he's got that business, like you don't see anyone no more, or he thinks he's something, or blah blah blah. And it's like, it was from people that I didn't expect it from as well, you know. And that spoke a lot to me. Do you know what I mean? Like,
So how did you manage that? How did you deal with that?
I don't know, dude. Like, end of the day, like it didn't really matter to me. Like, I knew what I was doing. That I had, for once, a little bit of focus on right. Bosh, that's what I need to do. This is where like. So I didn't focus on anything else. That was all I focused on was making that skatepark work. It was like for myself and for the family. Like everybody had put all their eggs in one basket, dude. Like if I failed, I failed everyone. I failed my mates because I had my mates working for me. I couldn't pay their wages. My mum was working there, so that was, you know, there was only my dad still had his 9 to 5, and like I was so obsessed with making it work just for that. I didn't care about anything else. It was just like, right, this needs to happen. So I was ignorant to all of that, which is, looking back on it, is the best thing that I could have done. Because if I would have got wrapped up in what people thought or whatever, it wouldn't have happened. Because I would have been like, fucking, oh, they're right, or I'd have thought into it, and you know, and nobody actually knows what's going on. You know, it's Chinese whispers. People make rumours of, oh, you know, he's turned into something that he didn't used to be. And blah blah blah. It's like, they don't know me. I'm still the same person that I was all them years ago. Like, I would do anything for anybody, dude. Like, and that, which is a really bad trait in business. That's why I'm not a very, very good businessman. I could be better, but I'm too kind. You've got, like, you know, I've learnt that in the years. When it comes to business, sometimes you have to be a little bit cutthroat, and I struggle with that. I'm too nice for it. You know, I'd rather give something away than, you know, just.
That goes against like your intuition.
Yeah, 100%, dude. Like, just, you know, it's hard to do that. I've got better at it. There's been certain stuff we've done, like, I guess when you're dealing with big companies, you know, that you have no connections to, then I find it easier because I haven't got that connection there. You know, I can kind of, you know, I can throw them a bill and be like, right, that's what you owe me. This is my worth. That's what you owe me if you want to use my facilities. It took me a long, long time to do that as well. Cause it's like, I never, even still, man, you know, look at it, man, it's just a park to me. That's what it's always been. It's just, you know, it's just a skate park, you know? So, but when you actually step back and take a look what we've got and stuff, like, yeah, it is cool. Like, there's not much else like it. So, I guess realising that worth was a little, you know, that was a good thing. That was a good step in the right direction.
Yeah, that's amazing, Jack. We'll have to move on to the next topic. This is amazing, dude. The content and the conversation, dude. You've gave me goosebumps like 4 or 5 times now listening to your story. Like, honestly, I'm so excited. You should write a book, definitely. But then, yeah, like, so moving on now. Then, so obviously we've just gone through all these years of you putting in the work, like you'd say, antisocial hours.
Yeah.
At the cost of relationships to past friends and stuff.
Yeah.
You know, and you're still doing this to this day.
Yeah.
13 years down the line.
Yeah.
If you could go back in time and have a conversation with yourself when you started Asylum, knowing what you know now, how would that conversation go?
Chill.
Relax.
What will be, to a degree. There's certain things you can do to steer things in the right direction, obviously, you know, like that goes without saying, but there are also certain things that are fully out of your control. So don't dwell on that. Make the most of what is there and what you have got, and just try and do your best to, you know, make that work. You know, because I spent a lot of time worrying about shit I didn't need to worry about, and that's wasted energy. You know, that could have been put somewhere else. But that was part of the curve, dude. I'm not a businessman. You know, I have a clue what I'm doing. Yeah, I met a guy, what would it be? A couple of years before we moved here. When did we move here? 19, so it would be in 2015, 2016. V1 was at its lowest point, middle of summer. I think we had about 260 quid left in the business account. And rent was due in 3 weeks' time. And we were like, I think this is it. Like, just accepted it, you know. We'd done the best. We couldn't have done any more with it, but we were just like, it's at that point, like, we can't really do any more. And then I met a guy called James. He actually, proper, I've got goosebumps. Like, it's such a strange story.
Okay.
I'll try and compact it. Mum and Dad had been away and met this very spiritual lady on holiday, and they told her the story about the park and everything else, and they were like, you know, we've been struggling a bit. She was like, I'm going to pray for you. Lo and behold, the week they came back, this guy called James walks into the park. I'd seen him a couple of times. I clock little things when people are in reception, you know, like, he's got a nice watch on, or whatever, he's dressed nicely, like, I think he's a businessman, or whatever. I'd play these little games in my head, like, you know, wonder how he's got that. I'd like to do that. So anyway, yeah, I met this guy. I was outside messing around with a car, as always. Simon, who runs our charity for us, bless him, all the trustees are like all family friends. You know, they make this happen for us still. You know, they're a big part of it. They don't get paid a penny. You know, and they do it out of their art for us as a family, and that's a whole other story. But I can't thank them enough. But yeah, Simon knew James from school, and he'd gone into the cafe. James was sat there. He's like, "Oh, what are you doing here?" He's like, "Oh, bought Gabriel when we saw." And James was like, "Good place this." And Sarge was like, "Oh, yeah, I'm chairman of the charity." And he's like, "Oh, your charity?" Yeah. He's like, "How's it all going?" And they got talking. Next thing, Sarge just come downstairs to Simon. Sarge, call him Sarge. Sarge just come downstairs to me. He's like, "You best go upstairs to the cafe. Like, your mum's crying." And I'm like, instantly back up because I was still young at this point. I was like, "Oh, he was upset with mum." You know what I mean? He's like, no, it's good. It's good. She's been talking to one of my old school friends. And as I've like gone walking through reception, James was walking back through the other way. He's like, "Is it Jack?" I went, "Yeah." He's like, James like shook his hand. He's like, "You want a fag?" I'm like, "Oh, I don't smoke anymore." But yeah, fuck out, fag with you. I gone outside. I'm talking away, and he's like, "Good place." He's like, "I think I could help you." I was like, "Oh, right." He's like, "Take my number." He's like, "I'll come and see you," or whatever. Like, I'd flicked through a few ideas just quickly between us. He's like, "I'll come and see you." So anyway, he's left. I've gone up to see him, and I was like, that was way too good to be true. Like, we ain't ever seeing this guy again. Do you know what I mean? Like, so this was a Saturday. Sunday morning, my phone's ringing at like 7:30, and I'm like, "What's ringing me at 7:30 on a Sunday morning?" Like, I said, "Oh, hello." He's like, "Jack, it's James from yesterday." I was like, "Oh, are you all right, mate?" He's like, "No, not really." I'm like, what's up? Like, what's happened? He's like, "I've been thinking about your fucking skate park all night." He's like, "Can I come and see you today?" I was like, "Yeah, if you want." He's like, "What time do you open?" I was like, 10. He's like, "Alright, I'll be there." Turned up with this notebook full of ideas. Sat and had a coffee with him. And I'm like, "Dude," I was like, "You know, these ideas, like, we're on the same wavelength. These are our ideas. But to make all this happen, there's got to be capital. Like, we are at rock bottom." And he slid me a checkbook, and he goes, "Right on there what you need, not what you want, what you need." So I did. Gave it back, ripped it off, screwed it up, slid it back. He says, "I'll ask you again, right on there what you need, not what you want." And I did. And it weren't much, but like, in the big scheme of things, it weren't much money, but it was, to us at the time. Do you know what I mean? It was a lot of money. And he ripped it off and gave me, he's like, "Yeah." Oh, alright, okay, so what do you want from this? Like, nothing in life's free. Like, well, how does this work? You know what I mean? Like, what do you want? He's like, "Nothing. Just want to help you." So I'm like, fucking hell. Knew nothing about him, dude. Didn't even know his surname at this point, I don't think. Just knew nothing about him. So anyway, he goes away. We're like, fucking hell, cash this check. Went through. We're like, this is weird. And I had this dream about him. I went to his house, and I see his blue Range Rover SVR with his number plate on. There was a red Bentley on the drive, Nina on his number plate, his wife at the time. And I sat smoking a fag on his doorstep, dude. And it was so weird, very vivid. I woke up and I was like, fucking that was weird. So I rang him up. I was like, James. I was like, bear in mind, I didn't know nothing about him. I was like, you might find this strange, but I was like, do you live at Birchwood Park Manor? He was like, how do you know that? I was like, I had a dream that I was there last night, dude, and all your cars there. I smoked a fag on your doorstep. Yeah, weird. Just fully described his ass to him, told him all his cars. And then he turns out his dad's Peter, his name's James Noah, his son's Joseph and Gabriel, and this woman on holiday and prayed for us. It was so, I've got
Oh my god.
goosebumps, dude. But he basically saved my arse, like an Asylum V1. Like, we would have been shut without him. And, you know, we gave it a little bit of a revamp and spent a little bit of money on it and got it to where it needs to be. And then, money aside, the most valuable thing, like, he always said to me, he's like, I was like, what do you want from this? He's like, I just want to help. He's like, I've not got to where I've got to in life without a leg up. And he's like, I'm willing to, you know, he's like, just let me teach you business. And he's done very, very well for himself, dude. Like, very well. So I'm like, yeah, I will literally sit with you 24 hours a day and chat you, if I could, just to learn. You know, I need to learn this. And I spent a lot of time with him. We had a lot of deep conversations, but I learned so much business-wise from him. So, you know, I think, and like you just said, I think that is true. Like, nobody gets anywhere without a leg up sometimes, you know. But yeah, I owe that guy everything, mate. Like, he literally saved our arse, and you know, I'm still really good friends with him to this day, and you know, he's like extended family now. But yeah, Side Quest. That was
a powerful story.
Yeah,
dude, I've got
goosebumps
right now.
Yeah,
like, that's insane. I would go as far as to say that James guy saw something in you that you didn't see in yourself at that time.
100%, dude. I think me and James are very similar. We think in very similar ways, to a point where, like, we'll be sat somewhere and I'll clock something and I'll look at him and he's already clocked it, and we'll just look at each other and we know. So whether he sees a little bit of like a younger version of him in me, but you know, I think he also sees how hard I've worked. You know, he's seen the lot. You know, he knows what's gone into it, and he's seen the shit times. He's seen the pain and, you know, everything else. So I think he knows I've got it in me if I can kind of get through that period. You know, like, I think you know, but that taught me a lot about myself. You know, I haven't ever thought that. You know, like, and for him to see that in me, and you know, like, not that I weren't seeing it from anywhere else, because you know, people have believed in me. Like, end of the day, fucking hell, like, mum retired 2 weeks ago. You know, she's had 12 years of hell, dude. She stood by me, still stands by me. She always will. So yeah, it's not like I weren't seeing my worth from them places, but like, you know, from an outsider to come in, like, it's just like, yeah, dude, hit different, mate. Like, you sometimes, you know, you can't see the wood for the trees sometimes, you know, when you're stuck in that loop, just hand to mouth every month, just getting by paying bills. Like, a fresh set of eyes is good sometimes.
Man, that is a powerful story. Man, that's incredible, Jack. Amazing.
Yeah.
I mean, I want to move on now to a similar question, but we're going to go the other way.
Okay.
So I want you to describe how the conversation will go if you was to have a conversation with yourself.
Yeah.
In 10 years' time. If the 10 years future Jack Plowman walked through that door today,
yeah,
what would you like to say to your future self?
Make time for yourself. Look after yourself. Money's not everything. Because I got heavily focused on that. You know, I've got to make money. Which you have when you're stuck in that business, in a business where you need to pay bills and stuff. You have got to make the money, but you almost get to a point where it's an obsession, dude. And it gets unhealthy. Like, you know, I didn't make no time for myself. We did, fucking, looking back on it, was mental. Me, Jake and Lee, when we first opened the first park, we opened 7 days a week, 10 till 10. So I'd pick Lee Man up at 9 o'clock in the morning, we'd get breakfast, we could go to work, we'd work a 12-hour shift, and then me, Jake and Lee would stay every single night and sweep the park, the entire park. So we'd be leaving at 11:30, and we did that. That's all we did do for like 4 years, 4 years. And like looking back on it, I'm like, fuck, how do you, I couldn't do that now.
Yeah.
Like, it just weren't healthy, dude. But it was like, at the time, like, I felt like I had to do it. And you know, bless them lads, they stood by me. You know, Jake's done so well for himself, though, hasn't he? You know,
Yeah, fair play to them boys.
So well for himself. I'm so proud of that kid, mate. Like, legit, like that's another thing for me. You know, I've seen people come through the door and leave, you know, years later with a life that they could have never dreamed of. And that has been put in place through asylum. You know.
Yeah.
Not through me personally. Like, I guess sometimes to a degree, like, you know. And to me, man, that fucking hell, it's worth millions, isn't it? Like, priceless, dude. Yeah, worth all the money in the world. Like, you know what I mean? Just even with justice and that, you know what I mean? Look at him riding his bike. Like, he's stoked. He can come ride his bike whenever he wants.
Living his best
somewhere
life
to ride, and yeah, it's just sick, man.
No, dude, honestly, it's so amazing to see. Like, and for those listening in that aren't part of action sports, or maybe don't come from a community as tight knit as where we come from, like, you know, and we welcome outsiders with open arms to come and join in.
Yeah, and this is such a thing for me with BMX, and not even BMX, the whole, like, say, non-mainstream sports. Like, you will be accepted. Like, that's, you know, that's what it is. Like, you come into the park, never even touched the bike, never even touched the scooter, never anything, but you think to yourself, I want to have a go at that. Like, you come here, you're going to be welcomed with, like, we don't care how good you are. Like, it's not a thing. And I think for me that was a big thing as well. Because, like, we used to go to all the parks, and it was always like, you turn up and it was always like a weird atmosphere. Like, anything you can do, I can do better kind of deal. Like, that was a big thing for me when I didn't want none of that. I just wanted the friendly atmosphere. Like, no one cares how good you are. If you're having a good time, that's all we're bothered about. And V1 especially was amazing for that, because it was such a small building. Like, it was like an extended family, dude. Like, this place is a little bit bigger, so it's like you sometimes lose that little bit of a buzz, but not so much. Like, I think it's still here. Like, we still get friendly, you know. It's
I know exactly what you're saying.
It's a friendly vibe, dude. But yeah, V1, like, someone would come in and, you know, do a 3 double whip, and everyone would be like, oh yeah, whatever. And someone would do a massive bar shag over the box and be like, what? You know, it was just fun, mate. Like, but at the end of the day, that's what it should be. That's what all this started as. Like, fun. That's why we do it, you know. That's why you ride a bike. That's why I rode a bike. You know, and that's why Justice rides a bike. Yeah, he's probably got a little bit more pressure on him with people wanting stuff now, you know, and, you know, other people, Kieran, you know, people like that. But, you know, Chris did a really good podcast. You watched that with...
I did, yeah.
The Ride Companion, with Davey. Sick guy. Davey.
So sick.
But Chris's podcast as well, mate. Like, that
was dialed.
So good, mate. But if you strip all that back to bare bones from anyone that's made it, it goes back to having fun. That's, you know, that's the reason we all started doing it, mate. So, you know, but if you've got a passion for something, like, just, you can build your oyster in it.
Absolutely, man.
If I can do it, anyone can, mate.
Well, there is something to be said about that, dude. Like, you know what you say, being the humble guy that you are, and those listening in that might not have the self-esteem, the self-belief, you know, maybe they're in that dark place that you once was in.
Yeah.
And just hearing your story, you know, sparked something inside them to pull them out of a... GoPro just turned off.
Oh, man. Oh, well.
Never mind, we'll keep it going.
Yes, sir.
Anyway.
Okay. Well, yeah, like I say, it's, yeah, if that can help anyone else, mate, 100%. Just, yeah, it ain't as bad as you think.
Incredible. And this journey that you have been on, obviously you've provided employment for your mum, you know, your friends as well, giving them the space and the lifestyle to be able to nurture, you know, their craft, i.e. Tom Justice. And now you've achieved all this, Jack, but I can't see you slowing down anytime soon, but like that conversation you want to have with yourself in 10 years time, it sounds to me like you want to create more space for yourself to calm your brain, which will allow more ideas.
I guess so, dude. Like I've got probably a rough year coming up. I've got major back surgery going off. Full thoracic fusion, so T1 to L3.
That's no joke.
Basically cut you from the base of your neck to your arse crack and put 2 big old metal rods in, straighten you up. So I've got recovery's a bit gnarly and stuff. I put it off for a long time, partly because I didn't want to admit it was as bad as it is. And I've lied to myself and been like, you're fine, but also like leaving the business for, I ain't going to be able to do anything for a fair few months. It's took it to get to, like I've got 100% faith in my workforce, the people that work with us, great bunch of lads and lasses. So it's at a point where I feel like, I can step away a little bit, sort myself out, and like I say, calm my head a little bit, because when I do think clear, dude, like I have some great ideas. The only thing that ever slows anything up is obviously capital. Like same with anyone. But if you can find a way of making that work, and there's always a way. Like if you work hard enough and delve deep enough, like you can find a way.
Let's touch base on this operation that you're going through. Obviously, you just said you've put it off for as long as you physically can. The business is in a stage where you have full faith in its running without you being present. Would you say that was one of the reasons you put it off so much? Maybe like you struggled to let go?
To a degree. And also like I've kind of always been the face of Asylum, like people walk through that reception door and they expect to see me. And I actually took some time for myself last year. Went through a breakup and just went and hid away for a bit, dude. I just didn't really want to be here, like at work. I just thought I need to spend some me time. I've been at work a lot. I took a bit of time off, dude, and I noticed a big change in people coming and or messaging me like, dude, we've not seen you for ages. Like, park's it's not the same. Do you know what I mean? It is, but it's not. And Mum always used to say to me, like when we was up, like I used to come and do shifts in the cafe when we were short staffed or whatever. And Mum would be like, we've sold so much more up here tonight, just because people are coming up to talk to you. People want to see you. Do you know what I mean? I never understood, but I don't know.
So it's time to put you first.
It was, I kind of took that time away, and then that made me realise then, like these people are saying, it's not been the same without me or whatever. So I'm like, fucking hell, I need to spend more time at work again. So I've been absolutely smashing it again lately. But I think people understand like this time. Like I'm not walking away from the business. Never will do. Couldn't do it. I'm not walking away for any other reason than to sort myself out. So I think they get that. That's why I'm not going to be here for a little while. I need to get this done. And I'm struggling getting downstairs in the morning. So that's kind of I've never struggled with that. I've always been able to still do things I want to do. I've been in pain. I paid the price for it. Like if I want to go ride my BMX, I go. I do 10 laps around that bowl, and I'm not walking straight for a few months.
That's a bit of a sign that you should probably get that.
Exactly, dude. So I've had a couple of eye openers in the last 6 months where I've been like, I think it's time. Still a hard decision, man. Like there's a lot of risk to it.
Starting Asylum was a hard decision, bro.
Of course, mate.
You weathered that, so I'm pretty sure this is just just another hurdle that you're going to fly through.
We've took some shit, dude. We've been through the ringer. Like I say, it's just a hurdle, innit? Get over it and plod on.
No, absolutely. And by the time this is released as well, Jack will be in full recovery mode. So make sure you send him loads of love. And you've got.
I'm coming off social media.
Alright, well, when you return,
yeah.
There's the next GoPro down. Okay, we're gonna wrap this up.
Yeah.
But I do have one more very important question for you, Jack.
Yeah.
Listening to your backstory, you've been blessed with such a great support network, whether it be family, friends, growing up.
Yeah.
But for those listening that haven't got access to a support network, whether it be family, friends, but they've got such big dreams and such big aspirations in life, listening into you as a successful businessman, can you share some words of wisdom?
Go to your local skate park, make new friends, hang out with them, and they will become your support network.
Wow.
It's how it works, dude.
Yeah, that hits.
It does.
That hits.
Or, if it ain't the skate park's a great place, extended family, people don't judge each other. But, there's other places out there, go, find these people, man, or find like-minded people. That's a big thing. Find people that have got that passion with you, do you know what I mean? It's weird, when I started the business, I almost I was quite narrow-minded with, if it was to do with other skate parks, I was quite ignorant to it. Because I was like, not that they're a threat to my business, but they're a competitor. They're really not. They're really not. There's never just going to be one park, dude. Or there's never going to just be one business doing. So unless you've got a really, 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 really niche thing, you're never going to be the only person doing it. Talk to other people that are doing it. I've learned that a lot, and I've made a great, great, great network of people throughout the industry through doing that. I knew nothing about networking, but I've had to learn that. But that, there's people out there doing the same thing, want to do the same thing. Do it together. Why wouldn't you?
Power in numbers.
Exactly, dude. Life's hard, mate. Make it easier. You know what I mean?
Well, on that bombshell, Jack, I can't believe we've just had a very powerful chat, man, and I've still got goosebumps now. I can't thank you enough for coming on this podcast and
thanks for having me, dude.
Sharing your life experiences and everything you've learnt along the way. We've got Asylum Skate Park behind us. Thanks to this man here, it still stands tall today. So if there's any final words you want to say, now's the time.
Just thanks for having me, dude, and thank you for Asylum's more than me. I'm the face of it, granted, put a lot into it, but it goes way deeper. We'd need to sit here for 10 hours. To have the full story. There's so much to it, but everybody from day one, there's lads I don't see so much anymore, and it's just life. I still love them, appreciate them. Appreciate everyone, man. Everyone that's even come and put a fucking screw in. From that to come and done a shift in the cafe and we've been short staffed. It's just thanks to everybody, dude. That's made it happen.
Well, thank you very much, Jack, for coming on. That has been an incredible episode. And if you're listening or watching today, if you take anything from learning from Jack Plowman, that is that you should take a leap of faith.
Wing it. That's it, just wing it, dude. Wing it.
So on that note, that's the end of today's episode. Thank you for tuning in yet again. So if you could show a little bit of support by hitting that subscribe button, and I promise you I'll give you everything I have to get you the best stories, the best mindset possible in future episodes. So that is the BMX Mindset. Let's go. Cheers, Jack.
Cheers, bro.
Fucking sick, man. Wow. Dude.